Hello friends, if we hadn't had the pleasure of meeting yet, I'm Mel. I am an illustrator and storyteller from Melbourne, Australia, and I'm the creator of Maud of Moss Forest, a small art brand and universe celebrating and exploring flowers, fairies, and femininity. This video will be a vlog style patchwork of all of the things that I have loved, started, and sometimes even finished making in the month of September. It's spring here in Melbourne, and this video is my love letter to spring. I'm so ready for the sunshine on my face, and like the flowers just bursting to life all around me, I feel something blooming creatively inside of me too. I did my very best to seize some of the beautiful things that I noticed this month, to capture them, to share them with you, so in a sense we can keep and enjoy them forever. So without further ado, fetch yourself a drink, a snack, your sketchbook, settle in, enjoy. Hello. What a glorious spring day it is. It feels like all the flowers in Melbourne have burst into life. I have done a little bit of a power hour on a design that I am working on to produce a small series of greeting cards. Let's rewind for a sec and I will tell you a little bit about some of my future plans. I have had an online store for the past, 10 years-ish. A lot of the work on it is still 10 years old, and while I don't want to sound ungrateful, a lot of the work that is on there, I feel like it doesn't represent where I'm currently at artistically or my interests. And so it probably stands to reason I don't necessarily want to promote that work moving forward. However, I currently have a casual job and my job future is uncertain, nature of having a casual job. I very much want a casual job because it allows me the freedom to just, when I have time to devote to my creativity, to just fully be present and, slide into that beautiful flow state. So it will always be my goal moving forward to have some paid work, outside of a business. Whatever the case, I will have more time next year to devote to my artwork. So it is really important that I consolidate some of the existing issues and inventory with my online store. And the plan has been for some time to retire some of that old stock and just stop selling it completely. But I want something to replace that potential passive income with. To that end, I am trying to be smart about designing illustrations that can be printed on products of a more utilitarian purpose, because I feel like the market has changed a lot in the 10 years that I have been, or 10, 15 years, gosh, that I have been a business person. 10 years ago, people had more disposable income to be able to buy massive A3 and A2 prints to put on their wall. But I think a lot of people are renting. I think that's a huge commitment for people to make in terms of wall space and saving up for such luxury items. And then there's the framing on top of it. I want my artwork to be loved in a different way. And I'm thinking greeting cards is a really good way to do that. So because I want to be known as an illustrator who draws fairies, I am designing a small, curated, thoughtful portfolio, and part of that will include a set of greeting cards. Some of them I think will be very sort of like directional. So on another day, I'll share with you a greeting card that I'm designing for a magical birthday. But the one that I'm currently working on is an all-purpose cute fairy card. These are called rhubarb and custard dahlias. Whoever designs the names of flowers, big tick from me. Yum, 100%. They are rhubarb and custard. Full disclaimer, I do not like custard. It's a textural thing, it's nothing personal. But I like the idea of rhubarb and custard. Very yummy colours. This is my rhubarb and custard dahlia fairy. The way that I'm working at the moment is I'm working with this really beautiful watercolor brush. These are Max Ulichny brushes. I hope I'm saying his name right. He's the last name in beautiful Procreate brushes. Anyway, let me show it off to you on a fresh layer. Yeah, just beautiful mimicry of an actual watercolor brush without all of the mess. So what I do is I just sort of blob it down vaguely within the lines, and then I go back and it's sort of masking, but I essentially just erase what color I don't need, and then I will layer some of that up to take full advantage of the beautiful transparency capabilities of watercolor. And so it will be lovely and rich. So nice to be able to have this time to really knuckle down and get things done. On a day like today, when the lighting is so beautiful, it's very tempting for me to work by this gorgeous window here and work in my sketchbooks. And they will need to wait for me, I think. It's good to just be able to knock out some of this work so that when I have a bit of time in the evenings after Aggie has gone to bed, I can just more autopilot some of the more mundane tasks like masking. Anyway, enough chit chat. I'm gonna get to work and I will see you soon. Bye. Hello friends. Time for a sit down. Let's have a coffee together. Let's have a nice little treat together. Some progress and some reflections from this week. Let's turn you around and let's have a little bit of a look-see and a little bit of a chat. I'm really pleased with the way that she came out. I love her face. I love the sense of movement in her hair. I love the shape language. The colors are really beautiful as well. They're very closely based on a palette that I have been working with for some months now. I've just worked in, as opposed to being built just on pinks and purples and cool blues, I've also worked in some chartreuse yellows and greens and some more natural yellows, mustards, oranges and browns. I feel like these are the colors that I am drawn to in nature and that inspire me. And I feel really encouraged by that the input is sort of equaling the output, that there is a closer correlation between what's inspiring and feeding me and what I'm putting out creatively into the world. It just feels really synchronous and really representative of what I would like to be doing with the Maud of Moss Forest brand and what that would immediately evoke to people who might be completely new to my artwork. I've been doing a lot of drawing on the couch, very, very brain dead at the end of the day. So I might get an hour or two from 9 o'clock until maybe 11. And my creativity is not at its peak. So I don't really know what I had planned for this, to be honest. I probably had card ideas floating around and the idea of having a cute blank card that could be used for multiple purposes. That was probably my initial idea, but she didn't have a really clear-cut purpose. Now that she's finished, I think she would be a really cute card design, but probably she would also do really well as a die-cut vinyl sticker, just because she's got that really simplified silhouette and because she's really graphic. Something I'm realizing a lot as I'm starting to conceptualize new series of work, as I want to update my store with more utilitarian items that have a clearer purpose for the people that might want to buy them, is that very often I need to sacrifice my darlings. Very often the first piece of work, if not the first 3 pieces of work, won't make the final cut because they're not clear enough in intention. This Dahlia fairy has really highlighted to me that as lovely as she is, there's so much more that I could and really should be doing with my artwork if I want to create opportunities for myself through traditional publishing methods, like potentially seeking editorial work, working with an agent, working to create products for companies. That's the sort of stuff that I should be creating for my portfolio. It's become really obvious to me that I need to be working on animating my characters more and working on expressions. While all of this has been marinating in my brain, I have for some time wanted to start creating personalized assets for my Maud of Moss Forest channel and to be able to share on my Substack and on social media. I see a lot of creators whose work I really love on YouTube creating these little sort of flickering animations. I thought they were GIFs, but I've had a whole education this week. My beautiful friend Sophie gave me a crash course in animation this week, and I'm really excited. I've just finished the line work for my first animation. Let me show you. Here we are. Here is whatever the positive opposite of foreshadowing is. This is it, the inspiration. She still needs color. I may add some more frames to make the movement slightly smoother, but are you ready for a first pass? Here we go. What's this? What's this? What is it? Good morning. Dave and Aggie have gone off for a city adventure this morning. I'm going to make good on my plans to do more than just incidental exercise, actually do some dedicated time moving my body. It's a beautiful spring day, but it is still quite chilly this morning. And so I'm going to give myself a little brain snack before I go to start my day. Last night I started on a patchwork pouch project. My plan is to get all of the major seams done so that I can do the quilting. It's just something that I can pick up and put down when Aggie is occupied. Again, brain snack. This is where I got up to last night. So the initial idea was to make myself a new wallet because this one is 10 years old and it is finally falling apart. It's also it's the perfect size for a coin pouch, but it is really annoying to actually get my hands in there when I'm standing at the checkout and I need to math and get exact change if I'm using cash. So I wanted it ever so slightly bigger. That was the plan. That would have been just about the right size bigger. But then I stumbled upon such a lovely arrangement of fabrics and I have such a hard time killing my proverbial darlings that I decided I will probably turn this into a pencil case zipper pouch and use that as the lining or perhaps the other side of it. I've started sewing some of the seams. I've basted in a few edits and I'm going to try and smash out the main seams this morning before I go for a run. Do I need another zipper pouch in my life? No, I don't. On Maslow's hierarchy of needs, this is not up there. I have this beautiful one that I bought from a seller on Etsy locally. It is so beautiful, so well made. I love the fabric of it. I use it all the time. You will have seen it if you come along for my adventures on Instagram. You would have seen that in some of my photos. This is pure indulgence and fun. Okay, I think we need to get to sewing some seams and I'll bring you along for the adventure.
With you and other artists and stuff like that, the language we use is so onomatopoeias. Like things sound like how they need to sound sometimes. Sometimes the words aren't exactly the correct words in context, but they might sound like the kind of thing that we want to portray.
Yes, and I wonder about...
The latest episode of Pencil Dust is keeping me company while I did my sewing. I don't think I've ever related to anything so hard as Soph and Luce talking about how words are hard sometimes and it's not our native language. Here we are. This is all my main seams done. Still got to hand sew this one because I was working on horizontals. That's a vertical one. Also trying to forgive past me for being grinchy and cutting this both wonky and way too short. How did I forget as a sewist that, you know, seam allowance does what it says on the tin, that I need to allow extra for seam allowance? Anyway, it'll still be really cute when I cut that down to make it a proper 90-degree cut. I think this is going to be really cute. I might do something here. I might do like a little embroidery or embroider my name or something on it so that it's interesting. And I will quilt it as well so it's nice and puffy. All right, on that note, I think that it is time for me to make good on my promise to myself to go and move my body, to enjoy some vitamin D, and then I'm going to come back home and I'm going to do some drawing. Okie dokie, I'll see you soon. Bye.
Up until very recently, I've not been an artist that maintains a consistent sketchbook practice, and this is something I've been unconsciously self-conscious about. I've always had deep admiration for folks who do keep sketchbooks, and Lord knows I've tried. I definitely feel intimidated by the blank page and by a self-imposed pressure to have everything neat and perfect. While I'm aware a sense of neatness is something that's always there in my work anyway, and I'm too close to it to realise that's the case, even for what I would perceive as messy work, what I really want, and what I've always craved, and haven't been aware that I've craved until recently, is to properly let go. To make a mess, to lean into the mess, to embrace the mess. Because I've come to realise there's a freedom in mess, and that mess is often synonymous with play. That's the space where we speak with our truest voice, where we're not trying to contrive a style or make a fully realised artwork to monetize, where we're just taking a line for a walk, just having fun. There's something really magical about ballpoint pen. I favour the Bic brand because their fine and medium nibs are perfect for drawing, and with a gentle hand, a lot of really lovely subtle rendering work can be achieved. Biro ink is really thick and delicious and layers up beautifully, so I can create some really striking graphic looks. I also love that this is an art supply that isn't intended for making art. It's marketed as a writing tool, so it feels like I'm getting away with something. I also love how accessible these pens are, and that I can buy them at almost any supermarket for just a few dollars. For someone like me with a busy brain who is all too ready to overthink even the simplest challenge, picking up a ballpoint pen, sitting down at my kitchen table and just getting right into sketching, it's like I'm making art before my brain can talk me out of it. Another thing I love about Biro is that no matter how faintly I draw in my skeleton lines, I still have to commit. In quite a few of my Biro drawings, I can see legacy marks, often around the mouth, where I've had to extend the jawline further down. It's like thinking out loud, the closest thing you can see to me working through construction of a character. I could wax lyrical about Biro for hours, but I'll pause here for now. I'm certainly not here to pose as a sage or an expert on anything, but if my musings have convinced you about ballpoint pen, I'd absolutely love to see what you make.
Welcome to the very cozy portion of this video. This is a selection of treasures that I have thrifted recently, things that I really love that have been on my wish list for a long time that just bring me joy to look at, and other things that I thought you might find interesting and cozy. If you want to make yourself a cup of tea, now's a really good time to do that. This is a sticker that I picked up from a gorgeous little shop in Fitzroy called Goldie's. It's a children's shop. The owner is so lovely and she just has impeccable taste. Really beautiful selection of kids' clothes, most of which I can't afford and I wish that I had in my size, but they're gorgeous. And she also stocks a small selection of Samantha Curcio, I think that's how you pronounce her name. She's an Aussie artist. A cute little vinyl sticker that I'll pop on a sketchbook sometime in the future. This was a book that I thrifted for Aggie. Aggie is obsessed with bunnies at the moment, even though Ruby Red Shoes is a hare. Aggie gets really excited when she sees bunnies. She calls them bun me's. I just think that this is adorable, beautiful patterns. This is very pleasing for my eyes. It's little details like this in books that just, delicious. I feel like it's a very cute Australian thing to be obsessed with chooks. Isn't this just delightful? This is a book that has already been much loved. I purchased it new for Aggie last year and it has already had a few visits to Mama's Hospital because it's a lift the flap book. So yeah, toddlers are not known for being subtle creatures, and a few flaps have been quite unceremoniously bent in ways that they are not intended to be bent. I love this spread. Oh, isn't this just divine? One day I would love to have my own wildflower garden. If only I knew how to grow flowers. Aggie loves making owl noises, so we always go hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo together when we get to this page. Tegan White's illustrations are just magical. Beautiful book. Glad that I got to share it with you before it's loved to pieces. I picked this up from a thrift store. My local Vinnie's has some incredible books. I think I went the other day and I spent $17 and got 10 books. We have books out the wazoo in our house. We absolutely don't need to add to that, but it is my weakness, that and fabric, as you will see. I was a little bit too old for this series. I think I was a teenager when these came out. So I'm just discovering this afresh with Aggie. Truly, it is a joy of a midlife childhood to discover things that are new to me, but old in the world. Aren't these just delightful? Look at this. Isn't this just like something out of a painting? So clever. I have been to the ballet once, and I have watched one of the Australian Ballet Corps performances, like practice performances in Melbourne. I've watched that once. That was a joy. That's quite an affordable way to enjoy ballet. Even though I haven't had the pleasure of watching ballet live performances very much, I am unabashedly obsessed with ballet. I think it's incredible what ballerinas can do to their bodies, how they can make their bodies into such living poetry is incredible to me. This is very pleasing to me, this colour gradation. Good book. And a small selection of vintage fabrics that I picked up. Well, one of them is not vintage. This was all cut into different bits, so I think someone has already had fun with this, but I was very happy to have these scraps. Okay, now I know basics about fabrics. I believe that lawn is quite fancy. It feels very soft, like quite a fine cotton. That's about as much as I understand about lawn. I would be very excited to use this in a patchwork project. I would love to quilt inside these little shapes. I think that would be really fun. So soft, so pretty. Actually would be really excited to use this in conjunction with this. This is just a bed sheet from Adairs, so not vintage at all. But it is that certified, is it Tchaikovsky that they have to do on kids' fabrics so that they're just made out of cotton and they're not flammable. So I actually could turn this into a garment. I mean, wouldn't a Selkie style gown made out of this fabric be just incredible? Yummy. Last but not least, this gorgeous little set of board books illustrated by Mona Kay, aka Ghost Puff on Instagram. I have followed her work for ages, and she started working with this Magic Cat publisher to create a series of 5-minute X stories. So 5-minute nature stories, 5-minute ocean stories, 5-minute solar. There's one about planets that is on my wish list. I bought these from Readings, which is a gorgeous bookshop in Melbourne, an independent bookseller. I think they're so delightful. Aggie is obsessed with bees at the moment, so this one gets a lot of action. Everything is also a frog at the moment. We have just a house spider living on the inside of our fireplace at the moment. It's a frog, apparently, because she doesn't know what a spider is, so it's a frog. This one's my favorite. This is just, you can tell that Mona had fun with this. Just such a lovely collection of shapes, so freeing. I love the way that she does forced perspective work. Yeah, such joyful work, isn't it? Gorgeous. This is what spring in Melbourne feels like to me right now. Aren't the colours just glorious? Beautiful. I hope you enjoyed going through this little collection of treasures with me. I absolutely love thrift shopping. I love the idea that objects had a history and a life that we will never know about but can only imagine before they came to live with us. Are you also a lover of thrift shopping? I would love to hear your stories of the best or favourite things that you've ever thrifted.
And that's it. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed keeping me company to appreciate the September that was. I would love to hear about your September. What adventures did you get up to? What did you make, bake, appreciate? What did you start in September that you're excited to finish in October, November, beyond? I'm really excited to finish off my patchwork pouch, to crack open my sketchbook and play with my pencils again. I've already captured some beautiful footage for my next vlog. No promises on when that will be. However, the creative juices have already started bubbling away, and I have started on some new pieces of work that I hope to turn into a series inspired by spring. So you can look forward to me sharing more of that in my next vlog. Until then, wishing you all good things on your creative journey. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.